I decided something's not right.
Right.
Called on the pediatrician the day after Boxing Day, and
yeah, this was the holiday season.
Exactly. So we described to her what was going on, and she said, you know, let me do some tests.
Right.
Even at this point, we had no idea what these tests would be about. Diabetes didn't come to mind. We had no idea.
No family history, nothing?
Nope. No.
Okay.
So in the end, the next morning, we got a call from the pediatrician's office to say that we need to come for a letter to take him to the hospital, because of course his blood sugar is way over normal, not readable by the machine, and he had some ketones in his blood. So immediately we went there in total shock, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And we were admitted to the Credit Valley Hospital.
Credit Valley Hospital.
Yeah. Of course, it was over the holidays, so we had to stay there admitted until we learned some things about how to manage diabetes with insulin. And of course, everybody was on holidays, so...
I'm interrupting you.
Yeah.
Audience, like we told you before, that diabetes, juvenile diabetes is insulin-dependent diabetes, because the pancreas, the beta cell are not producing insulin at all. So this type of diabetes, as we told you previously, occurs in the children. They are diagnosed in the childhood, and it's an autoimmune disease, totally dependent on insulin. Yeah.
Yes, so we would not be allowed to go home without the knowledge of administering insulin as his lifelong keeper. So we stayed there for a while, and people came off of their holidays to give us lessons. Diabetes educators are critical health and wellness personnel in the hospital to teach us how to administer long-acting insulin and rapid-acting insulin and so on. Eventually, after a couple of days, we were able to go home.
Okay. So now how he's doing it? Like he's taking his insulin by himself?
Yeah, so it's a long story. Once we got home, you know, we were trying to figure out who would be giving him the insulin, how many times a day we had to check his blood sugar and so on. Luckily for us, once we got home, he said he wanted to try to give himself the injection. He wanted to try.
Wow. 7 years old
So
child.
he tried, and up until now, he's still doing it himself.
Very good.
At this point, though, we're actually using an insulin pump for a number of years now.
Right.
So after...
Can you tell something about insulin
I will.
pump?
So after you're diagnosed with juvenile diabetes, there's a period of time that most would refer to as a honeymoon period. And what that is that you're still producing a small amount of insulin. So all your beta cells are not dead yet. So we have to manage between injections of insulin and the small amount of insulin that your body still produces until it stops totally. So oftentimes an endocrinologist will not recommend the use of an insulin pump until we were over with that honeymoon period, because it's too difficult to manage at that point. So we used needles for about 2 years while he was in an extended honeymoon period. So we checked his blood sugar, pricked his finger maybe 10 times a day, every day. At a wake, before each meal, bedtime, and before, during, and after any sporting activity. At this point, he was an athlete, and so we had many athletic competitions and practices to attend, and so we were checking at least 10 times a day on his finger.
Of course, but seeing the blood sugar level.
Yep. After 2 years of using needles, we finally decided to be on an insulin pump, which in and of itself is a life changer, because you're not only pricking with needles to check your blood sugar, but you're also injecting your body numerous times each day. I mean, if you want to eat, you have to inject insulin. So then we got a insulin pump, which changed our life somewhat. I mean, being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes is a life changer in and of itself. Then you're able to use a pump. It changes your life a little bit more convenience.
Convenience, yes.
So the insulin pump has now assisted us not to be taking injections anymore.
Okay.
And we, instead of using 2 types of insulin now, we only use 1. So when you're using needles, you're using a long-acting insulin and a rapid-acting insulin. When you're on an insulin pump, you use a rapid-acting insulin only.
All right.
But it allows you to give small doses over long periods of time.
Right.
So that was a life changer. This young guy could have a slice of pizza without the fear of a skyrocketing blood sugar and then a plummeting blood sugar right after that. Insulin pump really helps to get your insulin delivered over a period of time, because as you know, Nasma, that diabetes type 1 especially is not just affected by food. It's affected by activity, it's affected by mood, stress, anything that's going on, you know, affects your blood sugar levels. So
whole life
your whole life is intertwined in having type 1 diabetes. So we're using an insulin pump now, and that has avoided us from having to inject ourselves.
Great.
So we still had to do finger pricks.
Okay.
The next step for that was using a continuous glucose monitor, which is now even more life-changing, because that has absolved us of pricking our fingers 10-20 times a day.
Right, because every time
you have to
check it before taking the meal.
Exactly. So now this finally federally approved continuous glucose monitor that will allow you to be able to dose from the reading you get from the glucose monitor. So now on his small body, a small piece of real estate, he wears 2 pieces of apparatus. One is a site for an insulin pump, and the other is a site for the continuous glucose monitor.
Okay.
Now that monitor has changed our life, because now we're sitting here in studio chatting. He's actually at a basketball tournament, and if I take my phone out, I can look on my phone and I can see what his blood sugar is.
Technology helps a lot.
We have managed to be able to sleep at night because it has alerts. It tells us when he's approaching a dangerously low level of blood glucose, which he could.
It has become so convenient for you.
Yes.
Life is changed.
So life has changed for the better for us. But type 1 diabetes is a 24-hour-a-day job.
I can understand
but,
that. But you are a very strong woman, and
I think the attitude, when we chatted to him about type 1 diabetes this morning before coming here, I said, what would be the thing you would say to boys and girls anywhere with type 1 diabetes? Attitude, he says.
Attitude.
The attitude. We have accepted it as a part of our life, a small inconvenience, and we decided in the beginning, my husband and I, that type 1 diabetes would not stop us from doing anything we were doing before.
That's the attitude we want. And
we have remained true to that. The day we came from the hospital, we 3 looked at each other and said, what now? And my husband said, you want to go to the gym? And he says, yes.
Oh, great.
So we went, we took out our checker, and we checked, play 5 minutes, come back, let's see what happens to your blood sugar. And we sat there just figuring out how we're going to move on.
So he's doing all the normal activities.
Oh, totally.
He's
on normal school. He plays rep basketball. He's on a track team since prior to having diabetes. He continues to run. He continues
the positive attitude takes you.
He's a sport guy, you know, and it really helps with the blood sugar as well. Being active.
This is the main thing with diabetes, that you have to be active. The physical activity is the must. The diet is
diet, physical activity, a good mental attitude, and people around you who don't treat you differently.
Yes.
You know, what can you eat?
Education and awareness is the main thing. For the patient also, and for the people who are all around you.
Absolutely.
Both have to be equally important, play the role in this diabetes, in any disease. Sure. The society has to help each other.
Sure, I'll tell you, I mean, we had no clue of type 1 diabetes, and it was over the holidays, like I said. I wrote an email to the vice principal of his school at that time. He was in grade 2, to say, you know, this is what we have come across in our holidays, and when we come back in January, we need to sit and work this out. And she said, you know, Denise, can I phone you? And I said, sure. I mean, while I'm in tears, I'll talk to you. And she said, we have a number of boys at school that have type 1 diabetes, so we know what to do. And I felt a sigh of relief, of course.
Oh.
So we went to the school for about 3 weeks to see how things were doing at lunchtime. We were in continuous communication with the office staff and the vice principal and so on, until he was able to take care of it himself under their supervision every day.
Oh, great.
And so that luckily worked out for us, and there's a good support system of parents in the school as well.
Yes, this is very good in this country, that we are blessed with a nice, wonderful health program of our country. So viewers, we will talk this with Denise later on. We are going for a short break. We will be coming back soon after the short break.
Here you go.
चॉकलाटो
असली बात तो अंदर है छुपी।
बिस्कोनी चॉकलाटो, इसके खास कुकी में है छुपी रिच क्रीमी चॉकलेट।
बात तो है इसमें।
ऐसी ही बात है तुम में भी।
छुपी है तुझ में जो बात, दिखा दे अपना वो अंदाज।
बिस्कोनी चॉकलाटो, it's special inside.
रंग वाली, भरम वाली, न्यूज वाले, व्यूज वाले, भेल वाले, मेल वाले, कराची वाले, खैबर वाले, लाहौर वाले, और पिंडी वाले, इन शॉट पूरे पाकिस्तान वाले। चिली मिली के हमत वाले, कैंडीलैंड चिली मिली।
मैं हूं जहांगीर खान, स्क्वाश कोर्ट का चैंपियन, लेकिन रियल एस्टेट इन्वेस्टमेंट का चैंपियन मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन। मुझे उन पर यकीन है, आप भी करके देखिए।
जहांगीर खान और हजारों क्लाइंट्स का चहेता मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन। रेजिडेंशियल प्रॉपर्टीज और इन्वेस्टमेंट्स दोनों के लिए ही सही मशवरा, सही फैसला। मकान जिसे आप अपना घर कहने में फख्र महसूस करेंगे। मोहम्मद कामरान हुसैन, 4163185264।
You don't have a website yet, and you want to design your own website or redesign it. So, now is the right time. NJ Marketing is offering free websites. Just sign up with NJ Marketing for digital marketing. NJ is offering a complete package for digital marketing, which includes social media marketing with graphic design, search engine optimization, and email marketing for only $255. Don't wait. Sign up now and grow your business by capturing high-quality leads that will increase your profits. Call now 1-888-230-7357 or visit www.njmarketings.com.
Exclusive multi-designer studio specialized in wedding planning services, bridal wear, casual party wear, jewelry, shoes, purses, dupattas, men's and kids' clothes. You name it, we have it. Some of the Pakistani designer labels we carry are Sami K, Agha Noor, Sana Safinaz, Anas Abrar, Zainab Chutani, Wahaj Khan, Fatma Khan, and many more. Parahan, sheer elegance. We believe in quality service and best price.
You can contact 9075 Derry Road West, Unit Number 1, Milton, Ontario.
Welcome back, viewers. So we are talking with Denise, who is mother of a child suffering from juvenile diabetes, and how she's telling her story. And now we will ask her about her family members and the friends of son, how they take this when they came to know that this boy at the time of 7 years old, and now he is 12 years old. So the whole period, how they are coping with the family members and the friends, and how they are taking him, and how supporting the family is.
So we've been really lucky. Once we realized what was going on, and we decided that we can teach people how to treat us.
Okay.
Because
nice
as devastated
way, yeah.
as we were, everybody was devastated right along with us. Just right after Christmas, my family was in my home at Christmas, and everybody was just really devastated, and we were very sad about it. And then we decided as a unit that we can teach people how to treat us. So I believe that, you know, one of my sisters would often say, it's really unfortunate that you know, he has diabetes and so on, but if there's anyone who should have it, I don't know how I would cope with it. Thank God it's you, because we decided that we'll teach you how to treat us. And so once we were first acting confident, until we got into the routine of it, and where he seemed to be okay, and we were not making a huge deal about it. You know, we were trying to make sure that he continued to lead a normal life. That was quite a challenge at some points, but I think we've overcome that now, and nobody looks at him or us as a family with a child with diabetes. He is leading what is a normal life, and I advocate for that wherever we go. You know, the other thing is that we may think that we're alone, but we really are not. Once, you know, we started going out to his taekwondo, and I have a typed up sheet of instructions for everywhere he goes, and I said, you know, this is what we found out. And the taekwondo instructor said, oh yeah, we have 2 boys like that. Once we went to music, and he is in his piano class where we're leaving him for another hour, I give that sheet of paper, and oh no, we have 2 more like that.
Nice.
And I'm like, how come everybody knew about this except us? So once you go around,
it makes you calm, you know.
Then you know that other people have had it, and they're around. And you know, another thing that really helped him was a camp, a medically supervised camp, where he's been going for the last 3 years. First year he went for 1 week. Last 2 years he went for 2 weeks, where he stayed away from home for 2 weeks.
So you can tell something about that?
Yes, the medically supervised camp, you know, he has written notes about it, that the first time he went, that it was the best thing he's ever done in his life.
Of course.
He was away from home, he was safe. You can only go to that camp if you have type 1
diabetes. So they have
doctors
in the camp?
Doctors and nurses all have type 1 diabetes.
Type 1,
So everyone there is having the very same experience. When you have a low blood sugar and you're shaking and you're feeling like you're going to pass out, there's a station there for your juice boxes or your sugar tablets, and everybody's having that same experience. If you're having a really...
So the doctors and nurses are also...
Yep.
That's
so
very interesting.
For 2 weeks, he stayed there doing every normal thing that boys and girls do. Archery, climbing, kayaking, soccer, basketball. But at night, there's a nurse who comes and checks the blood sugars. During the day, whatever feeling that's related to diabetes that you have, somebody beside you has felt it before and knows what you're going through. So there's no fear. Everybody tells their story, you know, and so it has really given some confidence to my son, and I think to all the young people there who, we're not different, we're not strange. Everyone here, all 80 of us are the same.
Right. So and you get more...
and they get connected on social media, so they still talk on Instagram chat or whatever, and so they become friends. And I think people have lifelong friends from situations like that. When you're 12 and you're going to a camp, you form bonds with people who have like experiences. And so that was a really important part of him accepting his fate. And I think he also learned from us how to let people treat him. So he's not being treated, he's heard us say that he's not to be treated differently because he has diabetes. He must do his homework. He must always come prepared for school.
Doing the daily routine.
During his daily routine, diabetes is not an excuse for it. So he has seldom, if ever, made diabetes his excuse.
Nice.
I know as a mom, your
it's
heart...
It's not an hindrance in his life.
No.
He's going on with
and
as
really,
a routine life.
It's difficult as a mom to see something happening to him and saying, okay, well, we have to go now. When you know that he may not be feeling very well.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say to him, I'm sure in 10 minutes you'll be feeling much better. And he's like, yeah. So we taught our friends and our family how to treat us. We taught him how he should allow people to treat him. And so now I think it's our routine. It's an inconvenience for us. And we're just hoping and praying that we're managing the blood sugar numbers and his A1C to the point where he'll have no long-term effects from juvenile diabetes, but that's the everyday struggle. So quality of life and lifestyle is one, and then the other one is the medical implications of long-term diabetes.
Right.
So we're going along fine, but our daily task is to ensure that he maintains a normal blood glucose level to prevent long-term effects of diabetes, which we all know are not pleasant things. They're not pleasant things. So that is that's my routine. That's my task. My job as a mom is to think like a pancreas would.
Oh yeah,
so I am his pancreas, and I'm teaching him how to be his pancreas also.
That's
so. That's
wonderful.
what we do.
That's the way every mother should take it. And viewers, we will talk this with Denise later on. We are going for a short break. We will be coming back soon after the short break. Tell me something about his sports activity, how he manages it, what sports he is doing, and how he is able to manage it.
Over time, he has done a slew of different sports, but the ones that he's maintained, soccer back in the day. Now he's playing rep basketball, and he's on a track team. So, you know, type 1 is really a mysterious illness, as you know, and we often expect low blood sugars when you're doing any kinds of activities. When he's walking the dog, we have to make sure he has a sugar tablet in his pocket. I mean, we don't leave home without an emergency kit.
No, that's a lifesaver for him.
We don't go on an airplane without an emergency kit. But when he's doing any kinds of sports, there are different kinds of exercise. So aerobic exercise and anaerobic exercise. Sometimes his blood sugar actually rises. Right, based on the kind of exercise that he's doing. So we have to decide the length of time of the exercise, what kind of exercise it's going to be. If he's going to play a tournament, he may be on the bench for 5 minutes and only playing 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. So he's not in a rigorous exercise for the whole hour of the game. So we have to micro fix. So he takes small amounts of sugar if he's going low. He always has
to... So he always check his...
So now he's wearing that continuous glucose monitor. So while the parents are on the bench, we can see what his blood sugar is.
You showed me on phone, you get it.
We get an alert if he's going low. But back in the day when we did not have a continuous glucose monitor, he had to check and let us know how he was feeling.
We are in this era that we have so many... convenience things.
Technology. His coaches will make sure that he has a fast-acting sugar on the bench, so he'll have a juice box or something, a sugary drink. If his blood sugar is really high because of the kind of exercise, if it's anaerobic exercise and we're practicing sprints.
He's playing with normal, like
yes.
his team is with all the...
Absolutely. He tries out for any team that he's going to be playing with like anyone else. And oftentimes I do not tell that he has diabetes until
Nobody knows that.
he either gets on the team or not. When he gets on, I'll have a talk with the coach.
Okay. So they take him, there's no difficulty?
No, I don't believe that he should be treated any differently because he has type 1 diabetes. So after the fact, he does his tryouts, 5-10 tryouts, and he goes full force for it like all the other 12-year-old boys. And when the verdict is in, then I will have a talk with the coach and I will give them my personal layout of information that they will need to be able to recognize when he's shaky, nauseous, not himself.
Yes.
To acknowledge that he's either having a high, low blood sugar, whatever the case may be. And at that point, you know, we let them know that in his bag is an emergency kit. He has a number for a medical alert. If there's an emergency, that they need to call this number and it will direct them to the hospital, his endocrinologist, his pediatrician, and all of the above. That in his bag, he has a whole slew of emergency snacks, a change of a site for his pump in case the site malfunctions, and stops delivering insulin. So, you know, we don't go walking the dog without a kit. We call it a fanny pack. I mean, his friends will be like, hey, you're leaving your fanny pack here. They know that he does not leave one place to the next without that. His teachers know, everyone
So everybody's
knows.
taking care of him,
Yeah, but
he is taking care of himself.
He absolutely is. I mean, I'm really blessed by that.
Yeah.
And they say the teenage years and during puberty, when hormones rage, it really wreaks havoc on someone who is insulin dependent by mood and all sorts. But for now, I'm still lucky that he's still engaged in his self-care, because oftentimes in puberty, you know, they drop down on their self-care. They're not as interested in taking care of their diabetes as they are in boys or interested in girls. You know, their focus shifts at that age like any normal teenager, but hopefully he'll continue to be focused on his self-care.
There is one more important question. How you are dealing with the expenses, and is it covered with OHIP or not, and how the what is the financial like help from the government? And
so type 1 diabetes, yeah, it definitely has an impact on your pocketbook and your bank account for sure, depending on the technology that you try to engage. For the insulin pump, there is a program called ADP, Assisted Devices Program, that contributes a significant portion of the monthly expenses for maintaining an insulin pump. Also, the pump itself is covered by that program. So that pump may cost around $7,000 or $8,000. So that instrument is covered by that program.
Okay, that's good.
And parts.
Is it government funded program?
Yes, I think the Assisted Devices program is a government funded program.
Okay.
And some of the supplies are covered by it. But there's a portion that is not, that you have to take out of your pocket. No, the continuous glucose monitor and the tools that come with that are not covered yet. But there are groups advocating that based on the fact that this device, continuous glucose monitoring, could actually reduce the risk of long-term effects of diabetes, that it will in the long run help to curb healthcare costs. So there are advocates who are going to the government to say we should cover this device, because in the long run it's going to be reducing your risk of all the adverse effects of blindness and things like that that has to do with diabetes. So yeah, some parts are covered, some are not.
Some are not.
Yeah, and it just depends on what you want to engage in your diabetes care in technology. So there's lots of technology that you can engage. Some's covered, some's not.
Hopefully, coming years, everything will be covered.
Yeah, we're looking for an artificial pancreas if you hear about it. That's
who
what
knows,
we're looking for.
In the future, who knows?
Yes, of course.
So much technology is going on, and so much
we're
research
hoping
work
in
is
our
going
lifetime
on, so
that we'll
maybe,
see something.
Yeah.
But
So we all have to hope for the best.
Yes, of course.
Any advice you want to give to the viewers?
Yes, of course. You know, your children learn from you. And so whatever you can do, you can cry in the bathroom if you wish, but whatever you can do to put a positive impact in their life, despite the fact that they're living with type 1 diabetes, then I think it's your job to grow a wife, a mom, a dad, a husband for the future that's confident whether or not they're living with type 1 diabetes. They're being forced to grow up much faster than they would if they did not have type 1 diabetes. But it's not such a bad thing. They're super responsible, and it really helps them in all facets of their life. And then sometimes cut them a little bit of slack.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much, Denise.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So, I'm glad I invited you, and
it's my pleasure.
And I'm thankful you shared your experience with the viewers. It's very hard to speak. It's very hard to share the experience like this, the real life experience with somebody else on the screen. But I'm very thankful to you. You came.
It's my pleasure. Anytime.
We met Denise in a Christmas party arranged by UICM, and there I was talking to her, and she said, I will come and share my experience. So if anybody can gain help from it, it is very from my experience, if anybody can get information from that and be helpful for that, it will be she is very nice to share this.
It's my pleasure. Anytime.
Thank you very much to having you. Okay, viewers, I hope you had some information from this beautiful talk from Denise, and I hope her son and for her family very good healthy life for her in future. And for all of you, for my viewers, be happy, be positive, and see you can fight with anything. So that's the way to live a healthy life. You have to be very active and happy and positive attitude. See you next week. Goodbye.